In this series of short films, we will take a look around the Met Office site through the seasons, and we'll document some of the work we're doing to encourage biodiversity. As part of our efforts to increase biodiversity on the Met Office site, we're reducing the amount of pesticides and fertilisers. So we've completely eliminated the fertilisers, and pesticides are only applied in a spot case where really needed. This is improving the water quality in our ponds because this stuff runs off and enters the ponds, and fertiliser, for example, increases the growth of algae. Without introducing any of them artificially, we now have thriving colonies of amphibians in the ponds. We have species of newts, both smooth and palmate, common toad and also common frog. And following their hibernation in the winter, frogs are the first to arrive in the ponds. We monitor carefully lots of aspects of biodiversity on the site, and this helps us to maintain good records and show good management to ensure that we maintain the Wildlife Trust's biodiversity benchmark for the Met Office site.
So what I'm doing today is a survey of our reptile population. One of the reptiles that we have on site are the slow worms, and we've got these reptile refugia that we're going to look under to try and find them. Slow worms are on the UK's Biodiversity Action Plan, so we try and make sure that they've got a great habitat. The black provides a warmer place for the reptiles to bask. Most of the monitoring we do is over summer because we're more likely to find them between March and September-ish time. This one's probably a juvenile here because it doesn't have any distinct markings on it yet. So the females, you've got a large stripe down the centre of the spine, and the males you have blue spotting on the stomach, whereas the babies are kind of more gold in colour. They can actually live up to 20 years, so this one's probably reaching maturity at about 6 to 8 years. We've got about 10 mats out now, and usually we see about 5 in the height of the summer. On like a normal survey at this time of year, so June, July time, we're only seeing about 1 at the moment. So to get 3 under 1 mat is quite impressive.
Much of the grassland surrounding the Met Office is managed for the benefit of insects, and a wide variety of moths and butterflies have been recorded on site. These include the marbled white, meadow brown and the black underwing. One of our spectacular and more numerous species is the burnet moth. A medium-sized day-flying moth, the 6-spot burnet is black with 6 crimson-red spots on each forewing. The bright colour lets predators know the moth is poisonous and not good to eat. The moth flies between June and August, and by mid-July the top meadow overlooking the Met Office is alive with hundreds of these brightly coloured acrobats, feeding on the nectar of flowers such as knapweed and scabious. The burnet moth lays its eggs on caterpillar food plants such as bird's foot trefoil. The caterpillars hibernate on these plants over winter. They benefit from our mowing regime, in which a proportion of the grassland is always left uncut. Burnet moth caterpillars pupate in late spring, early summer, using papery cocoons which are attached to grass stems. The adult moths emerge in June or July, and the whole cycle begins again. Many types of fungi have been identified around the Met Office site. Come late summer and throughout the autumn, the area is bursting with examples. Over 60 species have been identified so far. Among them, the fluted bird's nest fungus. These appear on rotting wood as tiny hair-covered cones. As the fungi mature, the lid falls off to reveal what look like tiny eggs inside a fluted cup. Known as peridioles, these are dislodged by rain and attach themselves to surrounding vegetation using cords or filaments. The beautifully coloured blackening wax cap grows abundantly in the short grassland surrounding the Met Office. Young specimens glow like orange or red gems before gradually turning a waxy black, as the name suggests. Other native but exotically named fungi found on site include plums and custard, the tiny eyelash fungus, and the enormous giant funnel.
The majority of the woodlands that we have on site are around all the boundaries, and there's quite a lot of hedgerows as well, which are sort of sectioned off into sort of 5 different woodlands. We tend to fin through one of these each year, so it takes a 5-year cycle to get round. When these native woodlands were first planted, they were planted in high density, so the need to go through and fin these now are for the health of the remaining trees, the slower growing oaks, etc., and also to encourage ground flora. Any tree thinning we do is around January, February. This is because the trees are dormant, so it does no harm if we're trimming off branches to the existing trees, and also there's no nesting birds. We treat all the tree species slightly different. Some will pollard, some will coppice right down, as in hazel, which are quick growing. Some will just take off limbs and branches just to encourage healthy growth. The brush we create, we chop up and we create hibernaculum around inside the woodlands. The hibernaculum starts with big logs and it comes down to small leaves and branches, and this creates a habitat. The woodlands need ongoing active management, otherwise they would become less diverse and you wouldn't see such a varied habitat.